from high atop 1926 Hollywood Boulevard, you're listening to SoFloRadio.com.
SoFloRadio.com and SoFloTelevision.com.
Since the dawn of civilization, the elusive quest in pursuit of the perfect drink continues to evolve. Now more than ever, we reap the rewards of this passion. The perfect vintage, the finest brew, or a spirit of optimum age in class. And now, SoFloRadio.com invites you to discover the wonderful world of booze. By the glass.
All right, hello everybody. Welcome to By the Glass. I'm your host Brett Hubbard, and I'm welcoming you to explore another wonderful episode of By the Glass Show. We're a show about beverage culture, coming to you every Thursday at 6 on SoFlo Radio and ByTheGlassShow.com. Joined by my guest host Jason.
Hey now.
Got Ivan Bad on the board.
Yeah.
Intern Dio in the house, not intern anymore.
Hello.
Hey everybody.
Assistant.
We are
Young assistant
absolutely
Dio.
wonderfully pleased to have Mr. Peter Schnebley in the studio, and that is the man from the Miami Brewing Company. Everybody, a big round of applause for Mr. Peter Schnebley. Thank you so much for making that trek up. I mean, it is South Florida still, but the Redlands, it's just outside of Homestead, and you came, 3 hours to get here?
It took forever.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I left at 3:30 and it's 6 and I barely got here.
Well, we appreciate it. I know it's tough, especially with that squall we had coming
Oh
through.
my
What
goodness.
was that all about?
It's crazy.
It was crazy. The sky opened up. It started to rain, go nuts. It was just that cold front moving through. It felt like a hurricane in the middle of wintertime.
Yeah, it was. The wind was very
It
brisk.
was brisk.
Yeah.
It was very brisk outside, yes. And what we're doing tonight is we're talking to Peter. Now, he is a local brewer, Miami's first local brewery. Pretty amazing stuff. He great history. We have had previous shows, but there's been a lot of updates. There's a lot of fun stuff. First thing that just kicks me right in the face with Miami Brewing Company that I'm looking at right now are these awesome cans.
Thank you.
These are great.
Thank
I love them. What do you guys think of the cans? Now, really
I
cool
like 'em.
colors. They jump out at you. What's the theme behind them other than the Art Deco? I feel like I'm walking down South Beach.
You know, the whole theme was Miami.
Okay.
Miami, the Keys, that's our inspiration. So when we were designing it, Art Deco, retro,
Yeah.
brought forward type of stuff. So the Big Rod can, you see the kind of waves, kind of Art Deco-ish wave
Yes.
going on that.
I do.
Then, it's a funny thing. We were drawing a color. That whole thing we were drawing across the can when we were designing it. And my nephew, Javier Gutierrez,
Yes.
he kind of dropped the color as he got halfway through. And he didn't notice what he did, but I saw the metal next to it, and I go, wait a minute, go back to that. And I've never seen anything where the can was half silver and half the design.
It works. I
So
like
it's
it.
different.
It is. It's different. It's two-tone, but it's all color. I mean, it's all metal, silver,
Right.
different forms of metals, and it sticks out. It gives me that. I don't know if it's what you're going for, but it gives me that really cool Don Johnson '80s with the flamingo in the background.
Well, I
and
mean,
the-
one of them does say Miami Vice on it. So.
We'll get to that one. We'll get to that one. Yeah, we have some really great beers here. First of all, By the Glass Show, we got Miami Brewing Company with Peter Schnebley on. We're going over tonight. We got some great beers: the Big Rod Coconut Ale, the Gator Tail Brown Ale. We have the Shark Bait, which is the wheat ale, which is a Christeweizen. It's a filtered wheat, which I absolutely awesome. And the Vice IPA, which very, very cool. All themed in South Florida. And the actual brewery is a winery, is a produce company is on one side too as well. Really awesome facility down there. The whole operation. It's just a great place. You been there, Dio?
I was just there 2 weeks ago.
Oh, great. What'd you do? Did you have fun?
Yeah, I had the wine tastings. So I had 6, 7 things, and then I bought a couple bottles before I went
And you
home.
can get a growler to go.
I bought
Some
wine.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like a destination. You can go there.
Yeah.
Well, we'll let Peter answer because he's the man that owns the place. But I think it's a great destination spot.
Well, that's what we built it to be. I went around the country after we realized we were going to have a winery. That was 10 years ago, believe it or not. Time flies.
Yeah.
And we said, what is it that we should design? What should we build? And what we realized when people go to wineries, they want to stay longer, but it really isn't conducive for it. So they don't really have tables outside, and they don't have extra food that they can nibble on. And so when we designed everything, we designed it for people to come down and spend an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours. And it's really worked because they're driving quite a ways to get there already. but they want to get out to the country. They want to relax. They want to get away from it all. And we have live entertainment on the weekends. So
That
every
was there
Friday.
when I was there.
Did you go on a Saturday or a
Yep,
Friday?
I went on a Saturday.
So we had a big band there.
Yeah, big band. It was a lot of fun. Just
So-
people dancing and
When you
enjoying
say
themselves.
big band, what do you mean? That style of music, or a
No.
band that was multiple people, like a rock or
Yeah,
or
we'll have
It's kinda
between
like a salsa
four,
band.
yeah,
Oh, great.
4 to 10 people in the bands that play on Saturdays.
Wow.
And we always do top 40 and salsa,
Mm-hmm.
so that we appeal to everybody, gringos like me and Latins like my wife. We want to make everybody happy. But we'll have between 600 people to 1,000 people on a Saturday night.
Great.
The line was packed. There was so many people there. It was great. It was a lot of fun.
You wouldn't think, because it's so far out, it's in the Redlands, that you would have the line going like that. But it really is a good spot, a destination, like you said. When you go out to that part of the world, especially if you're from, Broward, Palm Beach, it is like a getaway. It's a whole nother world out there, and it's wonderful. And the place is beautiful with all the lovely limestone that you guys decorated with, and it really gives you that feel of exotica, right?
Yeah, we wanted to make it, if you could picture Miami, what is it lacking? Well, it's lacking waterfalls.
Yeah.
It's lacking a little bit of a change of terrain. So we
Right.
created like little hills, and we have, I think, about 8 waterfalls, tropical waterfalls that we built out of the coral. And we have over 20,000 square foot of tiki huts.
Yes.
So that way, it rains down here,
Yes.
like today. And when it rains, guess what? We got plenty of room, so we can still fit 400 or 500 people underneath the tiki huts.
That's right. I used to live in the Redlands, so yeah, and it rains in the Redlands a lot.
It's funny. I went to an outdoor wedding last weekend, and I was thinking about the winery and just how perfect it would be to have a wedding down there. I'm sure, and I know a lot of people do. Just with the waterfalls, and you have the wine. I mean, there's just so much to do, and you have the big open property, and you guys cater the whole thing. And how does that? Tell me about that, if you don't mind.
Yeah. We've got some plans. We're working with FIU to design the North 10 acres where we are. We have 20 acres total.
Yeah.
And the North 10 acres will end up having a commercial kitchen and some more facilities. In fact, we're going to build a 17,000 square foot brewery there.
Wow, that's some news.
Yep. So, in fact, it should be on our website pretty soon, the designs that we've been working on.
Breaking news, George.
Breaking news.
We're
So the
swarming
north
about that.
10 acres of the property you're going to build. How big was the brewery going to be?
About 17,000 square feet.
17,000 square feet. How big of a brew house are you thinking to have?
I would say probably the retail room is going to be about 3,000 square feet. Yeah.
How many barrels is your brew house now?
It's 15 barrel.
15. Are you going to increase to 30?
We're going to see.
Okay.
Right now things are going well, but I would envision probably a 30 would be the right size for us.
Great.
But you never know. The business is changing so fast.
It is. It is. How do you feel about the way the business is changing? Give me some of your insight into what you think. Good, bad?
Well, I think it's fantastic.
Okay, great.
Absolutely fantastic. The question for us is, what is our play? Obviously local is our play.
Yes.
Miami, where we use that name probably from West Palm Beach to Key West is our backyard.
Yes.
But, I grew up in New York State and I grew up in New York City. And so, would you be surprised to see, shark bait tap handle in a bar in New York City?
No, I wouldn't be.
We tried to design the beer so that you're almost taking a vacation to Miami by
That's
drinking our beer.
The vacation in a can. I love it. It's right there on the
Vacation
can. I love it.
Speaking of which, I could picture myself in the Keys drinking this one. This is awesome.
A lot of people do.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about the beer. The Big Rod Coconut Ale is the first one. Would you call it the flagship?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would.
Definitely
It
almost
was
flagship.
It was the first thought in my head was the Big Rod being the flagship, and you never know when it's like a horse. You got 4 horses in a race. It's the one that I first thought was going to be the winner, but the wheat beers are really popular.
They are, and your wheat beer is very good as well. The interesting thing about it, for people that don't know, it's a coconut ale, and not something you normally find in beer, and not the easiest thing to put in beer. How did you go? I mean, well, that kind of takes us back to, you are a produce company, first off, and then there's a whole story about how you came into the wine business using the leftover produce and all that. But how did you pick this one as the first one for the ale, to say coconut's the way to go?
When you think about Miami, there's a couple things that come into your head. One is palm trees.
For sure.
Right? So coconuts, they're here. That's what we got. So it was a natural for me to think that way. Now, most people do coconut, they do porters and stouts.
Yes.
we need a beer that we can drink 12 months of the year when it's hot out.
Right.
So we said, if we go in that direction, first of all, we're changing people's perception of what a beer is going to be with coconut in it. So what we want to do is make a light, refreshing beer that's great for the boat, beer that's great for the beach, and I think we hit it. What do you guys think?
I think so too.
It's really, it tastes great. It's really coconutty.
Yeah.
George is gone.
Yeah,
George
more
liked it
please,
so
thank you.
much. Yeah, and the fact of the matter is that you're very smart to do a blonde ale, which is for people that want to try something with a little more flavor to it. The intro to craft beer, so to speak. It's got full body. It's got a good flavor to it, and the coconut is just a nuance that just accents the flavor of the actual ale.
Yeah, because
so
when it first hits your mouth, it tastes like a nail, and then right as you finish, you get that coconut, and
nuance,
it's awesome.
which is what it should be.
It's nice
And,
toasty.
It's
toasted
perfectly
coconut, too.
balanced.
Yeah.
We also played we played around with the name. We try to have fun with our beers with a little bit of sarcasm.
Mm-hmm. This one's kind of sarcastic.
So
Who's the fisherman?
Exactly. So almost everybody that lives down where I live has a place in the Keys.
Yeah.
And the Keys are just fun. It's just a riot to hang around down there, drink, and Big Rod just seemed like the perfect name to have fun with.
No, absolutely. And you guys I love the new tap handles.
Thank you. I forgot to bring.
They
them.
remind me of Roger Rabbit, type cartoon illustrations. They're really coming off the page. You remember
Yes.
remember that movie Roger
I love
Rabbit?
that
Yeah,
movie.
absolutely.
I've seen it too many times.
And it has those really bigger than life illustrations, animations that kind of jump out at you, and they give you a real indication. And it's also because it's kind of like the thing is in real life, but it's kind of like this big thing coming off the bar, and it's neat. I really love it. As a matter of fact, I was just down in Tipsy Boar, because we are here in Hollywood, and I was just down talking to Tipsy Boar guys, and he has the shark bait. He's going to put it on tomorrow, and he's got the handle, and it's really cool.
Here's the handles I brought. It's on my iPhone, so it's not real big.
Oh, wow.
But we tried to do the kind of like the retro pinup style. So we've got the shark, eating the girl, but the girl's got like a 29, 35 look to
She's
her.
like a Betty.
Yeah, Betty.
That
exactly.
Betty style. That
Yep.
works.
There's a lot of detail on that.
Well, and it works with the whole Florida theme because everybody likes to think of where the boys are. That's that retro Florida. If you go down to the Elbow Room, let's say. You go down to the Elbow Room and you look up, and back in the day anyway, it's neat. When you go back and you look up on the walls, there was all the pictures from where the boys are,
Yep.
and everybody had those hairdos. And this is the place to party for many, many generations, well before the 80s, and it's definitely something that you can always correlate with Florida in your mind is that type of look, and everybody
Spring
came
break.
down here, the spring break feel, and very, very classic.
And there's always going to be dudes that go, I want the one with the bikini on it.
But, the funny thing about pinup, which is what we're really after, is that women appreciate pinup.
Yes.
Men, of course, do. We knew that was going to happen.
Right.
But it's sexy, but it's not too much. You're not really showing anything. It's more the attitude. And so we're trying to capture that in the beers, the tap panels, all of our apparel that we're going to do will have the same look to it, the same feel.
I like it. I like also the branding of the actual Miami Brewing Company brand, the red palm tree and the black surrounding. You guys came up with that about a year and a half ago now, and I really love it. Talk to me a little bit about that. Same thing with the cans.
Yeah, it was a tough one because we started off with calling it Schnebley Miami Brewing Company. And then I quickly thought to myself, I think the beer has a place more than just here. And Schnebley for the wines has been perfect. I mean, people want to know that I own it. They want to know that there's a family that owns it. And the same thing with craft beer, don't get me wrong. But I think the Miami Brewing Company has a play that's outside of this area too. So I think we've had some interest offshore. We've had some interest in the Bahamas because Miami is just a cool place.
It's great to put that name on there and just have it emulate your overall concept of what the beer should be. And it does. It echoes out into the rest of the world. And you could be drinking this anywhere. Like, you drink it in California, you can drink it in Duluth,
Right.
Iowa, and be like, wow, I wish it was in Miami with the Big Rod in my hand.
By the way, we kind of looked at the city of Miami's logo,
Yeah.
with the palm tree, the singular
Okay.
palm tree.
Because it does have that really reminiscent feeling to it from the city seal. type
it's
of thing.
clean. It's a very clean look too.
Yeah, I do. I like it. It's clean. I like the shirts, and I like the way that it looks branded onto different things. And what it does is it's classy, but it also is hip. So I mean, you guys, you got the name Miami before anybody else. There's a lot of other local breweries out there that don't really emulate the Miami name. They have like different variations of it, but to have the real name, it's and the brand right there with the seal, bam. I mean, that's the package right there. And it
Yeah,
comes
I think we
across real
lucked
nice.
out.
Yeah.
I'm a marketing guy, and I thought to myself, you can name it a bunch of things, but man, you name it Miami Brewing Company, and obviously everything we're doing, we're trying to use the feeling of Miami and the style and the culture of Miami and all the beers and the design. So it worked perfect, absolutely perfect.
That's great. So speaking of, so we were drinking the Big Rod Coconut Ale, wonderful blonde ale.
Were you going to say what's next?
Oh yeah, we were going to say what's next.
Okay.
Oh wait, I do have one thing to say.
Okay.
Oh no, you can talk all you. We got.
We
plenty
have
of
a
time.
commercial coming out.
Oh really?
Yeah. And,
Cool.
I've seen your wine commercial.
Have you?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, don't interrupt, but I used to get up every morning and the wine, and right after the news.
Yeah,
it
that's
would
what
be
I said.
playing.
Yeah.
And
Cheers, Miami.
seriously, everybody
you
saw
get
that
it
commercial.
in the
You
morning.
did a
I
good
see
job
it
with that
almost
one.
every
Hopefully,
morning,
the
yeah.
beer commercial will run the same time.
It will run the same time.
Great.
It doesn't have me in it. Doesn't have my wife in it. It does have a very nice, very pretty young blonde.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
That's always good.
Yep. And we talk about coconuts, and it's kind of like the Beach Boys theme. What's the song they have that has
California girls.
California. The
Good vibrations.
No, the Jamaica.
I think that was
Kokomo.
California Girl.
Kokomo.
Kokomo.
That-
So it has like a Kokomo feel to it,
Good. That's perfect.
which is
It's
Right?
perfect.
It's us.
it's
It's
so
us.
perfect.
and it's
You know what I like
It's
about
sexy.
it? It goes right up against Jimmy Buffett with his land shark. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's like we have our own thing now that's like local and cool and goes right up against that. Like Big Rod and Kokomo. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I love it, man. That's freaking awesome. And
Kokomo in a can.
yeah.
So we're gonna start airing that, and we're very there. You go. There you go.
Go ahead and play
It gets you in the mood, doesn't it?
really does.
Absolutely.
For more beer.
Tell you what. What's next? Okay, so we should go to the shark bait next because it's a light beer before we go to the dark. So let me pour a little shark bait. We'll talk about that. And for those of you we'll just go over it real brief. This started out as another name, but now we've got this name with it. So, right? We'll talk.
Yeah, when you get into trademarking stuff,
You don't always get what you want.
you don't know.
It just happens.
Yeah.
Sorry, George.
Oh,
The
it's
shark
all right.
bait. I guess the thing is, when you look at the side of the can, we tried to do the whole Jaws thing.
Yeah.
So we were fortunate. We got the little swimmer on the can,
yeah, I like that.
which was not easy. It was very difficult.
So when you're sitting there, you're creating all this stuff on the actual computer, and then when you put it on the can, it kind of morphs a little bit, or how does that work?
You don't have, if it was paper, you could have full graphics. But when you go on a can, you just limit.
You have limited color options and limited
You just noticed her?
ways you.
She's kind of small.
She's sexy. She's not quite bedded out, but she does have a one piece on.
Yeah.
This is
We designed every one of these cans in house.
Yeah,
Everything you see, we designed ourselves.
I do like it. I like the silhouette of the shark coming up, and
Wow.
once again, all those cool little these are like the stars you'd see on
That's
like those
tangy.
Miami Art Deco signs going
Yep.
down back in the day, and just all the
Retro look.
the retro looks with all the shapes like the kidney beans shapes and all those types of things. Really,
This is an
neat.
unfiltered beer.
No, we filtered.
No, this is
You did
filtered.
filter?
They call
Okay.
it the actual technical name is a Crystalweizen, and
Oh,
that
okay.
means that it's been filtered from all its wheat. So basically, what that does is technically wheat beers can be a little bit more sour, just more like tart. But that by taking away the yeast that's in suspension, will give you a little bit more of a fruitiness or a sweetness.
I got fruit coming off of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Right
a lot of
away.
citrus.
I just found out what fruit it was, so I'm not going to give it away.
Well,
Mm.
yeah.
But that's still got a nice tartness to it too.
It does. It's
Yeah.
a nice balance of sweet and tangy.
It really is. Okay, so let's see. It's a
like a Starburst.
5.3% ABV and light citrus on the nose, light maltiness,
Light
smooth
citrus.
mango finish. Okay,
That's what
Ah.
yeah.
It's a mango wheat beer.
Yeah.
Now,
We're in Miami.
Yeah. No, yeah. I love mango, so
Me too.
Yeah.
So
I enjoy
people
this.
might be saying to themselves, okay, coconuts, mangoes. Well, that all comes from the fact that Peter started out with the Fresh King with the produce, and then he turned that produce first off into wine, and then you said, hey, let's make beer and use the produce, correct?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
some of the produce we get at Publix is actually from your farm.
Not Publix, but
Other
Walmart
places.
does have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were in Walmart. I was in a Walmart yesterday in Doral on 87th.
And they had
And
your
13.
products.
And it was the first time ever I walked into a store, and they had our wine,
Wow.
they had our beer in the cold shelf, which shocked me because I didn't know it was on the cold shelf.
Oh wow,
Yeah, Walmart is now selling the Miami Brewing Company cans.
Wow.
Yep.
great.
And in the
And-
produce department, we had our limes from Fresh King.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, this is a good day.
That's great.
Why are they charging 69 cents a lime? I got to ask that.
He would
at
probably
Publix.
know better. I mean, I'm sure the cost to produce them or to grow them
Is it that expensive?
You know, I can only tell you that the market dictates that stuff.
Okay.
It isn't.
Okay.
It's supply and demand, right?
Yeah.
There's days when it's ridiculously cheap, and there's days when it's ridiculously expensive, and it's just supply and demand. It's the perfect economic model is produce.
All right.
Interesting.
Thank you.
You grow all the produce, or do you ship it in?
You know, we do both. I represent growers, and I also grow. We farm about 100 acres ourselves. We're the smallest grower that we represent. Most of our growers are a lot bigger than we are. We have one grower's a couple thousand acres.
Been a great winter for growing. You grow through the winter. I mean,
Strawberries are
It's been a
bountiful.
so-so winter. You know, we
really?
had
'Cause I figured it'd be warm. It was kind
yeah,
of
we had a lot of rain, which isn't good necessarily. We want rain during the summer.
right.
not rain
It's
in the
been
winter.
Awkward,
Yeah, it has
to
been
say
a
the
lot of
least.
rain.
I'm looking at all the the weather up north and saying to myself,
yeah.
what a great
no.
winter.
Oh, we're doing much better
For
than
that,
that.
yeah, for farming, it gets a little funny. I
Yeah.
wake up every day and there's one crop that benefited and one crop that didn't, and I'm happy, but you know it could have been a better winter. The rain really kind of screwed us up a little bit.
Okay. So we're talking to Mr. Peter Schnebley, Miami Brewing Company. We just tried the Big Rod earlier, wonderful coconut golden ale, absolutely wonderful. The flagship that he said to himself, you know, hey, let's make some craft beer. And now we're trying the really awesome shark bait. And this one here is phenomenal. Really nice tart, a little bit of crispness to it with a
I
nice
wouldn't
mango
call,
finish.
wouldn't call it a sour beer, but it's like
No, but the wheat can be tart.
Yeah.
Zingy.
Right. It has
Wheat
some
naturally
tang.
is tart. And
Yeah.
Yep.
That's why the Belgians, when they make that Belgian style, they use orange peel and coriander to spice it, to give it a little bit more of a balance, to add a little bit of a fruity sweetness with the spice.
I like
and
the mango
yeast
more than
does
the
too.
orange.
Would you guys just use a generally
unique,
American
yeah.
ale yeast in this one?
I believe so.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you, I don't know which yeast we used in this
That's
one.
fine. Yeah.
What I would tell you is that, you know, when you think about wheat beers,
Yeah.
if you don't put like the orange in there, it's kind of flabby. It doesn't have that acid to it.
Right.
Yes.
And so instead of using like Blue Moon used an orange, we use the mango. And the mango, if you know, there's 350 varieties of mangoes that we grow in South Florida.
You're kidding me.
No.
Wow.
We grow more varieties of
How
mangoes.
do you tell the difference? I had no idea.
You got to try each one.
I guess so.
But we grow more varieties of mangoes than any place else in the world outside of India. India is
Wow.
a country, and Miami-Dade County is a county. That's a
Wow.
fact. Isn't that wild?
That is
is
crazy
wild.
wild.
Yep.
That is
So we have
crazy.
all these mangoes at our disposal. And what you'll find when you come down to the brewery is we will have certain varieties of mangoes that we'll make up beer out of, you know, and do the growler way. Versus this will be probably the only canned mango beer that we'll do.
Right.
The rest will be special one-offs.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's really nice. More of a reason to go down there.
So it's like a different beer every time, almost.
Yep.
That really is cool. And those must be really good. I'm not going to get into the whole distillation thing. I know you have a license to distill,
Yep.
but those must be really good for making spirits out of mangoes.
Yeah, we're going to have fun.
Yeah, those must be
That's-
really good.
That's something in the future, maybe.
Yeah, we've got to build the distillery. We've taken classes in it. We've done a little bit of distilling, but
But the hard part's over. You got the license and the ability to do it.
well, we have
right?
the right to do it. We had
Right.
to change 2 laws. We had to change a state law and a county ordinance.
Right.
To,
Took us-
have it all under one roof
Yes,
or something.
Yeah, and have it on the same property. Actually, it took us 6 years to get the brewery license.
Oh,
We
wow.
would have had the brewery six years earlier.
Wow.
Yeah, we wanted to get the brewery
Government
license
red
right after
tape.
we got the winery
you would
license.
think
Are
they
all
would
these
want-
new breweries opening up having the same problem, or did you guys pave the way?
What it was on the same property you couldn't have 2 licenses.
Right.
So with the state of Florida, that was the problem. With the
Okay.
county, we weren't allowed to have a brewery on agricultural land.
Oh,
That makes
So
Well,
those
they
are the-
want it
makes
to be
sense that they would have a
farmland.
problem with
Yeah.
that.
right. So we had to change the county ordinance to allow us to have the brewery on an agricultural property, and the state ordinance allowing us to have 3 licenses on the same property:
Wow.
distilling, brewing, and wine.
How much did that cost? I mean, who did you have to?
The good-
Lawyers' fees.
actually, I spent no money on lawyers' fees.
Really?
Really?
Not one.
Good for
dime.
you, man.
What
That's
what I
great.
realize is
Com-
that you have to go down there with your
plan.
hardship. You got to have your face saying this is my family business. And by the way, if we don't get to do some of these things, I'm not sure we're going to stay in business. And it works. It really
Okay.
does.
Well, that's
They
great.
listen to you. Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Politicians want to see from us. A lawyer
want
shows
tax
up,
money.
and guess what?
That inspires people to get some laws changed.
Yeah, you know what inspires me though? The fact that with everything going on in this country today and all the money we send overseas and everything, I mean, can you think of anything that gives back to the local economy more than what Peter's doing?
No,
With the
this guy's a
winery, with the
businessman.
brewery, you're paying people, you're spending money back
Well, thank you.
right
creator.
into the
Thank you.
local economy.
Job
when I was there,
creator.
there's a
What
lot
is
of
more of
employees.
it right into the American economy, local economy than craft
That is
beer?
America right
Right.
there.
Yeah, I
It's
feel good.
not-
I got goosebumps.
Seriously, because everybody who buys a Miller or a Bud or a Corona or a whatever, those monies eventually go
Right.
out of the country.
Yep.
Go to Switzerland.
They go out of the country. But the
Right.
money that's sold, that's spent on craft beers, local craft beers, American-owned craft beers, stays in America. And I think that that's very important for everybody to understand right now. And it might be something that if you're thinking about maybe trying a craft beer, I think that that's the best way to think about it and give it a shot, because there's certainly a craft American-made beer out there, like a Big Rod, to where if you've never had, if you're used to drinking a regular Pilsner lager and you never had something like this, I think you're going to like it and be pleasantly surprised and be doing a hell of a lot of good for your country.
Yeah.
What do you
and
think?
And it completely changes your perception of beer because, I mean, who has a coconut ale?
Exactly. So we're
I
excited.
had one, but then I drank it.
and that's the way it goes. So fantastic. So let's talk a little bit about the regime. Now, you guys, Miami's a pretty good place because there's a lot of people that are interested in brewing and breweries, and you have the FIU. Right, fairly close, correct?
Yep.
And some of your good people. Now, I see here, I got some names here: Andrew Guthrie, Matt Weintraub, and Milton Montanes. Right?
Yes. Yep.
Those are 3 of the guys that are down there doing the brewing for you.
They are.
That's fantastic. Now, how did you come about some of these people? Just good people that they were interested in working with you?
Well, Milton's he's been with us for about 7 or 8 years, I think, and he's a winemaker that I brought in when I realized this is really about chemistry.
Yeah.
You need to understand bacteria.
Yeah.
I know how to make wine, but if something goes wrong, I'm the first guy to go, where's my specialist?
Yeah.
So Milton has a master's degree in chemistry. He came by way of Columbia.
Okay.
He got his master's degree at the University of Havana in
Havana, Cuba. Yep.
Really?
he worked at Havana Club Distilling.
Oh, wow.
So
Havana Club rum.
They make good rum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God,
You can't even, that's a nice dark rum. You can't even get that here in
Nope.
America.
Yeah, but you can find it if you
You
know
know what?
some
I had a
Cubans.
bottle somebody gave me a bottle to give to Ed Roberts, and I drank it on him.
Oh, sorry,
Ed.
It's so good.
It is very good rum. Yeah.
So we met 7 or 8 years ago. When I met him, I go, man, this is the guy I want. So rather than get a winemaker from California that will always use grapes as a reference,
Yes.
he is just knowing it from the pure state of chemistry. And every fruit that we use, we have a different process in order to process it. It isn't the same thing as taking a grape and squeezing it. When you take a mango and squeeze it, you get baby food.
Yeah, it's true.
So, everything we do, we had to reinvent how to do it. It wasn't written down. There's no instructions. Now, when it came to the beer, chemistry majors like these guys, they just understand a lot of this stuff. So what we didn't have, though, was the people that love yeast. And that's the new breed.
Yeah.
These guys that are out there, the home brewers and the new brewmasters and the FIU, that are coming through there, those guys that are learning from Dr. Barry Gump, who's really an outstanding individual. We stole him away from California.
Real nice guy.
Yep.
Oh, you
Great
know
guy.
Mm-hmm.
Theo. Oh, great.
Well, a buddy of mine took the brew class. I just went and drank.
Oh,
So
there
they're actually
Because of it.
they're teaching brewing at the
Oh,
college.
Yeah,
I
on the
missed
North
that. Okay.
Campus, and they have people that come in for taste. Like you can come in and help your buddy out by going, here's my beer, and then that's what I did. I was just a taste tester.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
This happened from nothing,
Yeah.
you know. And Barry came in there, and Barry's an expert in wine. But what people didn't realize is a lot of these guys that are into chemistry and everything else, they understand all this. They understand distillant. They understand all kinds of
Fermentation.
alcohols,
Yeah.
right? Fermentation and distillant. It's all related. That's why we're into all this stuff. So, make a long story short, they're really kicking it out of the park. And we picked up Matt Weintraub from FIU. He came on down just to witness some brewing back last summer, and when he walked in the door, he gave me like 3 recommendations. He goes, well, first of all, he goes, this place is not right, Pete. And I go, well, what are you talking about, Matt? And he goes, well, look at the walls, man. You don't have any insulation here. And I'm going, geez, he's right.
He couldn't keep his mouth closed.
Yeah,
had
he
to
goes,
tell
your
you.
floor's not pitched right. And I'm going, geez, he's right. You know, and then he gave me like 3 recommendations that he was dead on. I go, man, you need a job. So we tore the whole place apart back in November. The whole brewery, we completely gutted it.
I remember I couldn't get beer for a while.
yeah, you're right. We were shut down for about a month. I forewarned you, though, didn't
No,
I?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so we're really proud of what we did. The place is sterile now. It's completely insulated.
Well,
that keeps the temperature equal, so you can
Yeah.
brew beer better.
And it keeps, unless you're in Brussels, brewing lambics, it keeps foreign, airborne elements out. Bacteria, like Lactobacillus, Pediococcus, Brettanomyces. Those are bacteria which some people want in some beers, but not in a beer like this.
Yeah.
You want beer to be
You want to
fresh.
predict when you use that stuff.
Exactly, and you don't want an infection. You don't want all your beer to go.
You don't want cross contamination between the
Right,
beers.
and then also the fact that you're in Florida, there's a lot of humidity, and there's a lot of, when let's say he's controlling his temperatures. So these beers could be very, very off if the temperatures are too. I know I'm using glycol jacketed,
Yep.
fermentation vessels and whatnot. But overall, it's still a lot easier if there's more control of your.
Yeah, when it's 99
overall
degrees in the
brewery.
warehouse, you're not
Yeah.
going to brew a good
It
beer.
just-
Well,
It's
the other
tough.
thing you know is this: when you're getting into beer and yeast, it's not as strong as some of the other yeast. Like when you make wine, it's a stronger yeast.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we've got these weaker yeasts that we're using, and they can be influenced very easily
Yes,
to go in a different direction.
true. And
We don't want that.
right, you guys made a really cool. I think it was an imperial porter or stout one that was in the tank for a while. I went down there and I tasted it right out of the tank.
The
Awesome.
burnt banana bomber.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
cool.
wow, where's
Whoa.
that?
Yummy.
It
You
was
know, we
the
should've brought
banana
a growler
came
of that,
through.
huh?
Yeah, for
that sounds
sure.
delicious.
Yeah.
It was like remember those chocolate banana pops
Yeah.
that you get from the ice cream man that looked like
Frozen
the
bananas, yeah.
remember that Superman shot you talked about? How they had like the Astro Pop with the 3 different colors.
Yes.
it was it tasted like one of those. Man.
Wow. I want that.
Really nice chocolate malts with the banana hint to it. It was really nice.
Well, we caught a local banana yeast. We have 35 banana plants, where you guys walked around and the tiki huts and everything
Right.
else. Well, I planted all these banana trees so that when customers come down from Ohio and stuff, they can see a banana grow. So the guys went out and they caught the banana yeast and they used that to ferment.
No way.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So they harvested the yeast
Yes.
from the banana.
Yes.
That's as
Wow.
local as it gets.
Yes.
That really
That's
is. Now
amazing.
yeast are naturally indigenous on the rinds of many fruits, and that's
Okay.
how natural fermentation
Do-
takes
doesn't
place.
it take many years for a banana tree to produce bananas? Or?
No.
No,
No.
it does. Okay.
No, not many
I was
years.
misinformed.
Yeah.
I think within a year it's producing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was looking at the banana trees going, I've seen those before.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we saw in Boca
that's
we
the
had
pro-
banana trees.
That's
So-
the problem being in South Florida. You see the banana trees, you're going, well, that's cool. And then somebody from up north going, wow, that's
Did you know that you could use like starch from the banana to actually make the mash as well as the yeast from the banana?
Wow.
I don't know if but I know that in Brazil they used to make potato and banana beer, like the plantain banana. They take potatoes and bananas and they'd mash that in the water, and then they'd convert all the starches into sugars, use those sugars, then ferment those, and turn those into beer.
That's making beer with whatever you got there.
Wow.
Well, whatever grows. And basically you can ferment that,
So it's plátano
and guess
beer?
what you get? Vodka.
Wow. That
So
sounds
I mean,
interesting.
that's definitely something you can do.
I got to leave now. I got to go home and try that.
Yeah. But that's the cool
the
thing is
next
you got a lot of starchy stuff that you can use to make a mash. You don't have to only use
Right.
barley. And that's the great thing is you've really opened this Pandora's box of what you can do, Peter, what Miami Brewing Company can do. Because that's usually done with the wines, too. When I talk to people about Schnebly Winery and they say, oh, I talk to a lot of wine snobs. We're in the business. I deal with a lot of snobby people when it comes to wine. And they just will not allow anything but wine made from grapes in their head. And I say, look, he's not trying to be Bordeaux or Napa. The guy's taking what he has and he's making something individual and very unique. And if you can't open your mind to that, the Avovino is amazing.
The guava wine's my favorite.
They're unbelievable for what you're trying to do, and you've done it, and you can do it with the beer too. Who says you can't use any adjunct, any type of mash, anything you want to do to make these wild beers with all the indigenous yeasts and everything that South Florida has to offer? I think it's fantastic.
Well, thank you. You know, I get a kick out of people that, you know, it's gotten a lot better, by the way. If you notice,
Your wines are very good, and
you
let me
notice
tell you
people are
something.
going towards the wines that we're making now. There's a lot, you know, the Moscato, man, that's right up our alley.
Well, Mauricio told me the story about how you had to keep increasing the price of the wine because you thought, you know, you're like, oh, we only got 10 cases left. Well, if we put it at this price, nobody will buy it. You know what I mean? And they just kept buying it. You know what I mean? It was just like, geez, you know, we wanted to hold on to some of this, but it's all getting sold out. And what a great problem to have.
Yeah. We went to $30 on a lychee wine, and it kept on going up. We increased it to $25, and the sales doubled.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, we got to slow this down. We went to 30, and it slowed down though.
There you go.
We're at $30 for lychee wine because we haven't had a good lychee crop in 2 years.
Okay.
And that's the thing, you know. That's really the way it should be, like you talked about with the line.
Supply
is
and
that
demand, yeah.
And it really the agricultural product dictates the finished product.
You know, one thing I'd like to say.
At home.
One thing I'd like to say, Brett, is
Yeah.
that when people talk about wine, and they talk about ours, and they say, "Oh, you're making a fruit wine," I said, "Well, you know, this is an interesting thing. Isn't a grape a fruit?"
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, a grape is a fruit. And I said, you know, by the way, if you have a really good grape wine, does it taste like grape?
No.
And the answer is it
anything like
never
grape.
does.
No.
Otherwise, you're talking about Mad Dog 2020,
Yeah.
Concord.
Richard's Wild Irish Rose.
Yeah, Malaga or
Manischewitz.
Manischewitz. Yeah, absolutely. Anybody who has a wine that tastes like grape.
George knows about Mad Dog
You know.
2020.
Sure. All
Everybody
of it.
knows about. Nobody admits it, but everybody knows about it.
Boone's Farm.
Thunderbird, Thunderbird George.
You know it. Hey,
So I
we all
always-
cut our teeth on that. Everyone had
Strawberry
their
Hill.
own personal bottle.
You
is
just
that
cut your teeth on the
Country
curb
quencher.
afterwards.
Yeah.
I still pick up Mad Dog every
Yeah,
once in
but
a
no,
while.
you're absolutely right. Pete.
Well, I call it I call grape wines the cross-dressing wine because it doesn't want to be what it is. It
Yeah.
doesn't want to taste like grape. It wants to taste like. You ever hear a really good white wine have citrus overtones, right? Citrusy.
Yeah.
Well, there's no citrus in it.
Right.
Right.
It's from a grape.
Yeah. Exactly. It's
So-
from, it's from fermentation temperatures and different types of chemistry that the
The
winemaker
acidity.
has acidity that the winemaker has added for his attributes of his knowledge. And you can do that with any single juice. But I just think that, you know, when I explain that like that to people, I try to tell them that, you know, look, it's really actually incredibly bold and very, very interesting because what you're producing, I think it's phenomenal. And there's nobody doing anything like it. So that too.
Thank you.
All right, so let's get on. I know everybody wants to drink. We got the Gator Tail Brown Ale.
We should
I
probably
love.
do this
You
one
want to do that
first.
one first?
Let's
Okay,
the
we can
Vice.
do the
I think
IPA.
this
Vice
will be
IPA,
good.
George's favorite.
I think.
This IPA George is gonna like. It's not like your typical IPA. Talk to me about this IPA. I've tried it once before. It's not super typical. First of all, beautiful golden color.
That is a nice
That's
color.
That is a
pretty.
nice color, yeah.
Just a little bit more golden. That maltiness will give you a nice base to lay the hops on. Talk to me about the hops and everything.
Well, you know what we realize is Miami is in infancy in as far as craft beer goes. You know, we're not a mature craft beer market here, so we wanted to have an IPA that, you know, isn't on a top level of hoppiness.
You're not
So
going
we-
for like
60 IBU, which is
Yeah.
very low.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
actually, we're up around 70.
Okay,
We
Oh,
bumped
okay.
it
My
up a
notes are
little
wrong.
bit.
Okay.
No, your notes aren't wrong.
Okay.
Just
Ed
when
Roberts, you're
we
fired.
ended up finishing it, we finished it up a little bit higher.
Okay.
Um,
70 is pretty par.
That is
then for the
good.
course.
Yeah, I think 70 is a good first IPA.
Oh, this is an IPA.
That is very not bitter IPA.
Yeah.
They talk about caramel malts. Do you use caramel malts in this?
Yes, we do.
I,
Okay.
Oh,
you
yeah,
can
you're
taste
right.
them.
Yeah, that
this
is
is
not
good.
Yeah, I am
Nice
not an
malty.
IPA fan, and this is delicious.
This is good. This
Yeah.
is smooth, which I can't
That's
say
where
for
the-
most
the
IPAs.
balance.
Sessionable
It's
was
the
what we were
malty
shooting.
balance.
Yes,
Those of us
yeah.
who like malty beers.
It's balanced.
Very wow. You know what? I got to say right now, these guys have been doing this show with me for 3 years. They
Yeah.
didn't know
We're the
squat about
IPA hate
squat.
club.
Okay, now they're talking about how well the malts balance the hops. I'm so proud right now. I just really am.
We go to parties and just sued everyone out.
It's fun because you tell your friends what to drink, and they'll be like, "Oh wow, you weren't wrong about this." I'm like, "Yeah, no, I do this every week."
Right. So awesome stuff. So talk to me, please. Heavy
It's
toffee,
delicious.
slight citrus, herb notes, really great. What kind of so? So herb notes. So an herbal type of hop would mean more of a European style.
Yeah, we use I think the Marinka in this
oh,
one here.
I like that one.
Yep, and it's a little bit harder to get, but it has this beautiful flavor to it.
Yeah, it really does. It's unique,
It is unique.
Yeah, it's really good.
just like the rest of your products.
Well, we want it to be distinctively different. We didn't want to be the West Coast style IPA,
It's been done 100 times.
so this is more of an English style IPA.
It certainly is.
It's done great. People come into the brewery now and they're trying these IPAs and they're drinking them when they came from Bud and Miller.
Yeah,
They're not
These are
going, I can't drink that.
great segue beers.
So we'll end up doing a double IPA. Of course, we have to.
A dry hop double IPA.
Well, the thing
with
about this is a nice introduction to what a double would be. You just got to increase your overall gravity
Sure.
with this same exact malt bill, I think, which is perfect. And then you just maybe add a little bit more aromatics.
and then dry hop.
You know what I mean? Maybe some dry hopping aromatics. Jason, I love you.
Well, picture this one, okay? We have a recipe we're working on for not this weekend, but next weekend, and we're gonna bump the IBUs up to probably about 90, but we're gonna add kumquat
Wow.
and rosemary.
Wow.
Yeah,
And who came up with that? Just from tasting stuff, or
I'm a
or-
little crazy.
All right.
So the rosemary in the secondary, right?
Yes.
That
Yep.
one rosemary I can get away from you. That's a really intense.
Well, we probably won't go crazy on the
Just a
rosemary
skosh.
because you don't need a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm sitting there driving down the road. We went to the Tampa festival last weekend.
Right.
And,
Strawberry Festival?
On the way over, I was
There's a
talking to
brew
my,
fest.
my,
Oh.
my brewmasters. I had Andrew and Matt down brewing on Friday night, and I said, "Hey, we got to try this." And kumquats are in season right now, and we ship a lot of kumquats. We're probably one of the largest shippers in the country of kumquats.
I don't think I've ever had one. Is it that little brown furry thing?
No, it's a little orange thing like that. They
Yeah.
start
Yellow.
growing
Oh,
the
you're
trees in
thinking
Boca.
the
Yeah.
one they sell on the street, right?
I think someone
The green one?
somebody I know was
No,
putting that in
it's-
gin
little orange.
That's what
it's
I
a
think
little
he's
orange.
thinking of.
It's a little
No.
orange,
with a
Yeah,
pit
yeah.
in it.
and you eat the whole orange.
Yeah,
so you
yeah,
eat
yeah.
the skin
I know what
and
you're
everything.
talking about.
What's the difference
It
between
is-
a kumquat and a loquat?
Oh, 100% different. One is
you're making a
very
joke.
much a citrus.
Yeah, me
Okay.
too.
It's like an orange. It's like a
Okay.
baby orange.
The
So there is a
kumquat.
loquat. There's a real.
Yeah, there is a loquat.
Loquat's the little yellow ones. Is that right?
Loquat. What color is a loquat?
It's like an
yeah,
off
little,
yellowy.
little yellow.
Because I know
yeah.
somebody was
Google
cutting
that.
them up
We
and
had a
putting
treat.
them. I know someone
When
was
we
making
I don't
gin
grow
and
loquats,
tonics,
so-
and she was squeezing them in there.
I don't grow any loquats. And I've only eaten them a few times. So I'm not an
Interesting.
expert on loquats.
No, we used to throw kumquats at people when we were kids.
So
Anyway.
nice. Such a nice boy. So it's so funny you mentioned the strawberry festival. It
Oh.
just popped in my head. We did a show like 3 years ago, and somebody was talking about the Tampa Strawberry.
I like the
Festival.
Strawberry Festival.
Very cool. So, what's what? Yeah.
the Miami Vice.
Yes. Which I love the name, by the way.
Yeah, that's them. Loquats. Those are yummy, by the way. Put it on the list.
James Earl Almost.
James Earl almost. Yeah.
We happened to meet him last month. No,
Really?
2 months ago.
Oh, he's
yeah.
awesome.
He's, just unbelievable
Yeah.
guy. So it was really ironic, though, because here he is. We're at a fundraiser, and we were supposed to give him a gift basket. So we give him a gift basket. And of course, we got to put Miami Vice IPA in the gift basket.
Oh, very cool.
Isn't that crazy?
Edward James almost, right?
Edward James, I'm
That's-
sorry,
That's
yeah.
cool. No, James
I-
Earl Jones. I got those two mixed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we also gave him wine. And he calls up the winery now and orders his wine. He loves the guava wine.
Yeah, man.
Ah.
Yeah.
I'm not alone.
Yeah,
Hey,
loves
you
it
and Edward
too,
James.
yeah.
Yep.
But you guys. So what was that? The South, was it the Sobe Food and Wine Festival? Was that where you saw him over there or something? Or
No, it was.
You just came into the
It
winery?
was. We have a lot of immigrants that work in the fields.
Yeah.
A lot of them. Most of the crops are picked by the Mexicans,
Mhm.
and so we're very close with raising
Community.
money for them and trying to get them to college and changing the next generation so that they're educated and
a
they can
better
go on
life.
and have a better life.
That's great.
So he was there for a big fundraiser. We had to honor some of our good friends that were retiring, and so he flew in for that.
That's great. That
Yeah.
he's a big part of the public, and good to the better of the community. So look at that, craft beer giving back to the
Yeah.
economy, giving back to the future of people, and their livelihood. Just it's amazing that what you can do. And the thing is that it really takes away that stigma that alcohol is so bad, and kind of gives some props to what we can do with a good product that everybody can enjoy if it's enjoyed responsibly and done
Absolutely.
right and done correct.
Well, anything you abuse is
Yes.
not good for you. I don't care what it is.
Even
Sugar.
cheeseburgers.
yeah,
Sugar,
Anything.
anything you do,
especially
so alcohol is
cheeseburgers.
the same. Yeah.
Obesity's like the number one killer out
Oh,
there.
I do have something as far as a substitute for hops is local.
Oh, great! What you got?
Because the whole new thing now is local.
Yeah.
Is there's a something called bitter melon,
Wow.
and bitter melon is Chinese and Indian, and it looks kind of like a cucumber that has some issues. And when you cut it, it has this bitterness to it, and
It's got alpha acid.
so they use this in a lot of their cooking. And I learned a long time ago they used to use it in making their beers in China. So we've made some batches with bitter melon as the bitter.
Wow. How'd
So
that turn out?
100% low, very good.
Wow.
Really good.
What about growing hops in Florida? Have you tried that too? Or?
We haven't tried it yet, but
The problem
it's
on
kinda
a
in
large
my DNA though.
The problem on a large basis, from what I've been told, because I know people that have like little hot plants in their backyard, it can be done. It's just once you get to a larger basis, mold because of the humidity. And same thing with grapes. When you get into it, things need to be harvested at a certain time, and to getting them to that point,
That's it.
they mold out on you.
Okay.
And mold is the number one enemy of hops. That's why in Washington and Oregon, where it's a dry, arid climate, but it's cool enough with the direct heat, and also the way the grapes grow out there in California, and those are really good because you want that no mold spores to really. It can be done, but
On
Well,
a
you
large
gotta-
scale, it's
to
not
do
gonna
it on a
happen.
large scale and make money off it would cost you a lot of money.
Well, here's, you're 100% right. Now, with that being said, if you drop the humidity
If you do
and you
greenhouse,
drop the temperature down maybe 5 to 10 degrees during the summer, we're there.
no, for you to do it for your beers makes total sense. and you
not,
could
not to mass produce it.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm talking about with Jason. Why they're not
do it.
mass produced in
Okay,
Florida.
no problem. I was
Yeah.
just curious.
But places like in Hallertau, there's a really great YouTube video. Put in hops of Hallertau, Germany. It's awesome. man.
Okay.
It tells you all about
I'll
how
do that
growing
tonight.
hops. I've watched it like 5 times. I love it.
can't wait.
Really?
Yeah, it's a really awesome video about how the hop season in Hallertau in Germany.
Huh?
And
I'll
it's
look
really-
that one up.
it really
We'll
is
put a
cool.
link on the website too.
Very cool. So fantastic. We're having a wonderful time here. We are joined in studio by Mr. Peter Schnebley, Miami Brewing Company. He drove all the way up here from the Redlands to be with us, and we're having a great time here. We're trying all his wonderful beers. Let's talk about the cans, the fact that they're in cans. Cans are hot. And you know what I like about this, Pete, is that they're 12-ounce beers in a 6-pack of cans, and that's what sells. People want to buy a 6-pack. They want to try it. They want to, the whatever the price point is out there. If it's $9.99, you know what? I'm spending $10 on a 6-pack and trying these beers. It's a great pack size, and I think it's going to do really well in the retail. Talk to me about your canning and everything. How you got into that?
Well, there comes a day when you got to make a decision of are you going to go with bottles or cans? And to say you're going to do both, it isn't realistic because you've got to commit if you're going to do any kind of volume to one or the other. You can do a little bit of one. And so, we've been, we had our ears open and our eyes open and be looking at the industry and see what the trends are and what we should be. And as you know, we're risk takers. We're not afraid to try something that we think this is the way it's going. So when, you saw Dale's Pale Ale in a can.
And it can. Yeah.
And then we went to the convention last year in Washington, and we heard them
It was
speak
all
about
canning, right?
it. And they said, something, we never gave it a second thought.
Mhm.
They said we went cans, and we never looked back, and we never will go into a bottle. And the logic behind it is simple. One is that you're preserving the beer in a can because there is no sunlight.
Yeah.
You can't get sunlight into there. The other thing they said, which was really pretty profound, is this beer was in a can its whole life, and then it was put into another can.
Yeah.
It was fermented in a can.
Yeah. Right into
It,
it.
it was stored in a can. I mean, everything. It was boiled in a can. It's all been in touch with metal its whole life until it was either bottled or canned. That's a fact. The other thing is that the cans now are not like the cans that Dad had.
Right.
They're not. They're not this metal that can rust. These are all lined. So there is no contact of the beer with the actual can. It's all lined stuff. So the other thing is we're trying to really be very green with what we're doing. We're recycling the fruits and we're making products out of them. We put a 35 kW solar panel system onto our roofs this past year. I think we're the only commercial industry, commercial business in Miami-Dade County that has solar panels on their roof.
Wow.
So for us to look at the cans, it's 100% recyclable.
Yes.
Right.
Glass is about 70. You can fit roughly 30% more can. You know this better than me. How many bottles are on a pallet?
Oh, bottles on a pallet, I don't know.
Is almost nothing. Cans, we can get
Yeah,
I think 30% more cans.
Because when you're shipping these types of things, it's all about freight weight.
Yep,
And you can ship more because it weighs less.
weighs less.
Aluminum
Sure,
weighs
yeah.
less than glass.
Now the other thing is that it gets colder faster. The
Yeah, that's
downside, the downside is it could also heat up with your hand.
But,
That's
you know,
what
I'd like
cozies
to
are
also
for.
say, though, that these are great because golf courses, pools, out at the
Beach.
ocean, on the beach, on the boat, that type of thing. But also when you're home, like Peter said, when you're home, just because it's in a can doesn't mean you have to drink it from the can. Now, in the craft beer world, we always like you to pour beer into a glass whenever possible.
Yeah, you're gonna
because
enjoy
you
it
need
much
to
better.
aerate the beer, have the carbonation come out of solution. Okay, and definitely that's where all of your flavor is in that foam in that head. And then you're also going to want to just have a better overall experience with your beer. So pour in a glass whenever you can, but when you have to drink out of a can, these cans taste pretty damn good.
Oh yeah.
Shotgun it.
You know what I mean? You and you always have that option, Jason.
Absolutely.
It's been a few years.
Yeah.
Forgot how to do that.
You could shotgun these though.
Speaking of shotgunning,
did
we
that
do
a
have
month
one more
ago.
beer to get to before the end of the show.
Oh yeah.
We
Wow,
know,
you
we
chugged
know.
that one.
We know.
I'm ready, man. What are you talking about?
So we're gonna drink the Gator Tail Brown Ale, and everybody loves this one.
I've been looking forward to this one.
Yeah, this one. You know what I love about this one? It's so chocolatey. You get a great chocolatey malt out of it. And when people think chocolatey malt, people out there don't realize, like, how do you get the chocolate into beer, man? Well, what they did was they took the
How do you?
malts and they roasted them to caramelize all those sugars in the malts by crisping up the outsides by toasting them in an oven. And then when you soak those malts in the water, what happens is it releases all those they call the Maillard effect, those roasted notes.
So they never really put that coffee and chocolate in beer.
No, that comes from the actual roasting of the grain. Just like Peter was talking about when those grapes make that wine, that's citrusy. There's no citrus in there. That comes from the grape. It's the same concept. But pulling it out, it certainly is an art form. Talk to me
So
about the
do you have bees on your thing? Are you going to do mead
that's
at all? Or
I'm sure we will. It's not on
Eventually.
the to-do list in the near future, but I'm sure we will.
okay.
We can do, because we have both licenses, by the way, we can do ciders.
Oh, okay.
And we have made ciders because that has to be done by a winery. You can't do it with a beer license.
Yeah, that's nice. And there's tax issues with that, too.
Mm-hmm. But one
Jack
thing
of
I
all
will
trades over here, man.
I
Yeah.
know, man.
Well, that's why when people said to us, they said, "Oh, you're a winery. You can't make beer." And I'm like,
Well.
"Listen, first of all, I wasn't born as a winery. I wasn't born from the womb and came out as a winemaker.
Right.
These are things that you learn how to do.
Absolutely.
And I love alcohol.
Hey, there you
I'm
go.
into that. I'll drink to that.
Yeah.
So
Me too.
when you start getting into this, you understand that it's fermentation. Just
Yeah.
what you said, Brett.
Yep.
First, you start with fermentation, whether it's beer or wine or distillate.
Yep.
Then all these other things are just different processes. So they're all so related that I guarantee you, anybody who's brewing beer is going to want to get into distillate at some point in their life.
Yeah, it's the next progression.
It is. It really is.
Absolutely. You guys make some ports?
Yes.
You guys make some cool ports and some
Yep.
and some late harvests and all that stuff.
Yep.
That's what's cool about the fruit is that there's different consistencies of it's grapes juice is always grape juice, but you can get some like the mango juice is a little bit thicker and that type of thing. I mean, like he said, there's a chemistry of making different things. Like I make a mango port.
I mean,
You
from
know,
watching that Moonshiner
there
show,
really
all you
is
need
a-
is a pit to make anything.
But do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? It's like I don't know how those guys do that. To be honest with you.
I don't
Yeah,
know
they're
either.
crazy, man. Yeah,
'Cause
they'll
it's-
freaking make
it's
liquor
They
out of
drink
anything.
it till they're cross-eyed.
And you know what? I'm watching the show, and it's like the guy's like running from the cops, but then you're like with the cops 5 minutes later. It's like, hey, why don't you just tell
Yeah,
them?
it
The cops
sounds a
gonna be
little-
like, well, where are these guys? I'm looking all over for them.
Oh no, I'm not talking about the reality. I'm talking about the fact that this guy's got like 3 pieces of wood and then a small little hole in the ground, and it's like, here's my moonshine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
pretty
then,
crazy.
and then why would you buy their moonshine where it's cheaper to buy alcohol at Albertsons? Or you know, what
Yeah.
I mean? I just don't get that.
Or just get better quality.
yeah, it
It's
doesn't
a
make
little
any
scary
sense.
what they're
Yeah, you don't
want to
go blind.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're drinking
It's
till
like
you're cross-eyed.
$170 a gallon. It's like hold on, 140 a gallon is what the guy was selling it for. It's like you can buy cheaper alcohol than that. I mean,
and better.
Yeah, I don't get it. Well, anyway. So this is fantastic, Mr. Peter Schnebley. We're talking about the Gator Tail Brown Ale and the wonderful, wonderful chocolate malts that go into this.
This is an intense beer.
This one's a hit.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's yummy.
Thank you. Well, what we wanted to do was make it an ale, not a porter, not a stout. Most people's perception when they see this is like, oh, I don't drink that.
Right.
Not beer drinkers, but the average person
Doesn't drink anything dark.
I don't drink that. That's Guinness.
Right.
And so
I
the
love
perception.
Guinness.
Huh?
I love Guinness.
We love
Yeah.
Guinness.
George is a big brown ale fan.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
the
big
perception is everything's Guinness that's dark.
That's
You know?
true.
Everything's a stout or a porter that's dark, and that's not true. So the first thing we want to do was teach them that, hey, you can drink a beer that's a little bit lighter. It's not as heavy, and yet all these flavors that you would find in these other beers. And that's what the ale does.
Yeah. So as we end up the show here, I want you to get out a couple of things. I want you to talk about what's going on with Total Wine and everything, all the promotions that are going on. We got about 3 minutes left, and I want you to get it all in for everybody out there that wants to find these beers. Go to Total Wine. They're definitely, all the cans are in there. I know the Big Rod is flying off the shelves.
Total Wine has embraced us since day one. Ed Roberts came down to our brewery when he heard, like the day before that we got our license. He came on down and he wanted to know what we were going to do. And
He's
I said, I don't
pretty
even know what
shifty
we're
that
gonna
way.
do. I don't even know what we're going to do. And he goes, do you realize you're the first brewery in Miami-Dade County? And I'm going, I had no idea. I didn't think about
Wow.
it. I hadn't thought about it.
Hence the name.
Hence the name, yeah. So to make a long story short, Ed's been great. We learned a lot over the last 2.5 years. And so when all the beers became available, I think we delivered to Gold Coast on Tuesday. They're all going into Ed. Ed is the first person to put all 4 beers in
all
every
4
one of
in
the
cans
stores.
will be available, and then you set up tastings, or how does that work?
Yeah, we're doing tastings in every store. In fact, if you go on our Facebook, you can see when we're doing it. If you go on Total Wine's Facebook, you can see when the tastings are there's one happening tonight.
Great. What's the best way for people to get that information? So just the Schnebley Winery or
Miami Brewing Company is what you want to Google. MiamiBrewingCompany.org is our website.
Okay.
Believe it or not,
What's
somebody's kind of shifty, so they got MiamiBrewing.com, even though they don't have
Bastards.
a brewery.
What?
You can get that back. Just get your lawyer on it.
Yeah.
He's good
He's
at
trying
doing
to
things
prevent
without
law
lawyers.
fees.
But what is your Twitter handle for Miami Brewing Company? Is
You
there one?
know, I'll be honest with you.
I was trying to
I haven't
promote on
done
Twitter.
that yet.
You
I
got to
gotta
get
do
one,
it.
bro, because I was
know.
trying to promote it on
I
Twitter, and
know.
all that comes up is Schnebley, and you
I
got to get a
know.
Miami Brewing
Miami
Company
Brew
Twitter.
Co.
You're right. I don't
Yeah.
even do anything on Twitter on Schnebley.
You need to do
it
Twitter.
just links. I know.
Twitter
I'm,
is just kind of.
I'm 52. I'm a little.
Well, have
You can
slow.
link
have,
your
have
Facebook to
Milton
your
do
Twitter.
it. Have Milton
But
do
you
it.
can link your
Oh.
Facebook to your Twitter.
Well, I
That's
want
all
to
you
thank
need to do.
everybody. I want to thank Peter Schnebley. I want to thank Ed Roberts for putting this whole thing together, and everybody out there for listening. Miami Brewing Company. I just want to say, drive safe. Please enjoy all these wonderful products responsibly. Get down to the actual winery brewery, which is in the Redlands. Best way to go, US 1 South. And
You don't have to talk
Take-
fast. That clock's fast.
what
You got
exit?
2 more
Well,
minutes.
I got a few more things to say. What exit?
Exit 5.
Okay.
Now Ed has a promotion.
Oh.
Facebook.
Okay.
So you go on to Facebook and you hit like,
Okay.
and we're going to give away a package to go to see Miami Beer Garden.
Okay.
At the Panthers Arena.
Which Facebook?
At Total Wines.
So go to Total Wine's Facebook.
Yep.
And like it.
Like it.
And then he's giving away a package for the.
Package for 4 people, lower bowl tickets. You're going to party with us.
Okay, awesome.
We are the
Because-
official craft beer of the Florida Panthers.
Oh, that's
Right.
fantastic.
And you can get all these
Yep.
beers at the BB&T Center.
Autograph hockey puck over there.
We've got 5 beers on tap there. You go to our beer garden,
Yep.
which is as soon as you walk in, you see it.
Yep.
You're gonna be drinking beer with us. You're gonna get a hockey stick that's autographed.
Freaking awesome.
You're gonna get passes to the brewery to come on down and brew with our brewmasters on Saturdays.
Wow.
It's gonna be fun.
Everybody go out to the Total Wine Facebook page and like that sucker and get yourself involved in this.
I think it starts. By the way, I think it starts next week.
Okay,
I don't
cool.
think it's up right now.
Okay.
Because I think the beers will be in the stores by Monday, all of them. Right now, Big Rod's the only one in
Right.
the store,
Right. Fantastic.
and the wine's in there too.
Yeah.
Total
no,
Wines has the
absolutely.
wines
yeah.
and the beers. So
Yeah, we can't forget about the
I don't
wine.
want to. I
definitely.
don't want to. Leave
Not at
that
all.
out because
Not
they
at
have
all, no.
embraced us from day one.
No, they're fantastic. Everybody out there, it's been wonderful. Thank you so much to Peter Schnebley for driving all the way up here. These are such awesome beers. We wish you the best of luck. We love everything about it. Everybody, drive safe out there. Don't drink and drive. Everybody be good. We'll see you next Thursday at 6 on SoFlo Radio and buytheglassshow.com. Go to MiamiBrewingCompany.org and check out all this great stuff going on with the really awesome, the first first brewery to open in Miami-Dade County.
Excellent.
And it's fantastic having you on the show. Everybody have a wonderful evening, and we love you. Good night, okay? Take care and be safe.
Streaming live from the beautiful city of Hollywood, Florida, USA. This is SoFloRadio.com.